Hey everybody, this is training video number 2. This is September 22nd when this is being recorded, and it'll get sent out today. And 3 really good plays to look at today to think about what you would do in these situations. None of these are easy. So, I need to point out, and I'll probably say it every time, the purpose of this is not to embarrass an official, a crew, an association, a player, or a team. It is simply for us all to get better and see what happens in other games so that we could think about what would we do in that situation. So when it does happen to us, we're maybe just a little better prepared. All right, well, let's get right to it. 3 plays today. Okay, so the first play we're going to look at here is a kickoff play. So let's just roll it. Okay, first thing I want to just point out, referees, we're not to start on the sideline. We're to start at around the hash mark, somewhere between the hash mark and the center of field to get a better view of the play. The head linesman, who's correctly at the 30, is covering that sideline all the way back to the pylon. So let's make sure we're in the right position. That was a change this year, back to the mechanic that we used to use a few years ago. So here we have a kickoff. Referee also moved up from the goal line. You can see the ball's bouncing around. Now he's going to have to chase it back. Let's stay on the goal line until we're sure it's not going to be threatened, because the referee here now has to move back, and we're not in a great position to rule on the play in general. So we're scrambling back. Receiving team player bats the ball at their own 1-yard line across their own end line. So let's talk about that for a second. We have an illegal bat because you cannot bat a kickoff at all if you're the receiving team, but you certainly can't bat a ball that's hit the ground. So that's a foul. Now, the question is, what do we do with it? Every fiber of our being is thinking, oh, well, that should be a safety. However, if we look at Rule 213.4a, force is not a factor on kicks going into ours end zone, since these kicks are always a touchback, regardless of who supplied the force. So the result of this play is a touchback every time. We still have that foul for illegal batting, though, on the 1-yard line. So during a kickoff, the basic spot is the previous spot. So K's options here, and you should present these, are enforce that 10-yard penalty. Remember, it's 10 yards this year with a rule change. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. In other words, re-kick from the 50, or decline it, and R can take the touchback. One more thing I want to point out on this play here, I'm going to rewind here a little bit. At around the 33-yard line, there's 3 blocks that occur all around the same time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so the first one, the guy launches. I mean, I'm not saying it's a foul. I don't actually believe it's a foul, but it could have been a foul. And my question is, who's going to see it? We got a back judge running into the middle of the field who, if they're on their horse, probably does get a good look at this. The line judge was on the 50 and drifted a little bit downfield. I assume we can't see them. Also, put yourself in position to see the play. Don't just drift for no reason. Drift to see these blocks. And it's tough to see 3 blocks that happen almost at the same time. But think more of just how can you put yourself into position to see it. The headlinesman at the top is dealing with this loose ball near a sideline on a kickoff, and so they're kind of taken out of the play a little bit. There's the 3 blocks. So again, batted result of the play is a touchback. If they want to enforce the foul, it'd be previous spot. So our second play is an example of momentum, and another unusual play that we don't see very often. Here's the pass. Oh, intercepted, down in the end zone. Okay, now this is a moment that's scary for back judges, I am sure. Happens fast, and we get 1 bite at this. So let's take a look at it again here. So you can see the ball's in the air. The defender is intercepting it, bringing it into his body, feet are in the air, foot down there. That's where I believe he completes this interception, and he is right at the 5-yard line. And momentum says, if you're inside the 5 and your original momentum takes you into the end zone, and the ball's dead there, you will gain possession where you first possessed it. Here, in this case, would be at the 5-yard line. So, we could see the back judge originally gives a touchback signal, but I'll give kudos to this crew. Same game as the last play, by the way. They had their hands full. They got together and talked about it and ended up ruling momentum correctly. So again, let's not be too technical on these because it's really hard to rule that exactly. So again, I would argue here, first bringing the ball in there, foot down there at the 5-yard line, and his momentum brings him in. That would be a pretty cheap safety. I think the crew got this right. Good job. And again, good job all getting together to make sure you have a conversation on such an unusual play. Slow down. Let's get it right. Good job. So here's our last play. This is another tough one. There's a lot going on here. So let's just roll through it once and then we'll back up a little. It's a run pass option. Pass right around the line, forward or backward. Play down the field, close to the pylon. God, we checked a lot of boxes on this play. So let's back up a second. So the first thing I think to note here is watch the offensive line here at the snap. Okay, they're firing out to run block, right? And so the umpire is correctly reading run here and not coming to the line. The problem is, of course, the quarterback keeps the ball and then starts running. And then throws it right there. And it does look like he is legal. It looks like the line of scrimmage is at the 24-yard line, and his feet look like they haven't reached the 24-yard line. Clearly forward, and then play at the pylon. So let's back up one more time. So the wing at the top, the head linesman here at the snap, starts drifting off the line already. And now your receiver isn't doing anything. In fact, both receivers, if you look at the top and bottom, neither one of them are running a route of it at all. So both wings should actually stay home. It looks like both move. There's no reason, even though this is a 4-person crew, I should have pointed it out in the beginning, there is no back judge, but we still don't go down the field here when we're not inside the 15-yard line. You got to read the play. And so there's no route, so if the head linesman had stayed, they'd be right on the line of scrimmage. Could have helped with the passer if they were able to look there. Certainly would have easier ruled on forward backward, which was reasonably close. But the other thing I want to point out here is the linemen. They fired out to run block, and the ball was thrown right now. And you could see there's multiple linemen that are at least 5 yards down the field. And because it is a forward pass that crosses the line, this should have been a foul for actually more than one lineman downfield illegally. Tougher for the umpire probably to pick this up, although they are next to him, so it's just something to be aware of. But, wings, if you stayed home, maybe you can pick up on it, especially potentially the line judge who doesn't have really anything else to look at down at the bottom of the screen. So if we roll it again, I think that lead block was legal. I don't think that's a hold right there at the 20. I think he just overpowered him. Kind of hard to tell, but that's what it looks like. And it does look like the wing was correctly focused there, so that's good work. Play at the pylon. Well, your guess is as good as mine here. Wing does signal. I would say aesthetically, let's just wait to signal until we get to the goal line. I don't think it looks great running up like that. I do think you got it right, but it is close. And in a 4-person crew, this is a tough call. It does appear that the ball probably went over the pylon, but, I'm good with the touchdown call here. And so, tough play for a 4-person crew. Just remember, ineligibles downfield, those run pass options, it's really important because the defense is going to see linemen downfield potentially and react and say, oh, it's a run no matter what, because they can't legally pass it. And if we allow them to pass it, the offense definitely gains an advantage. Okay, everybody, that's it for this week. Thanks for putting out the effort that you are, and keep up the good work. And let me know if you have any questions.